Hi, it's Grace with Uniquely Grace, and today I'm going to show you your basic steps to adding shabby paints to your next project. Today I'm going to be percent coverage because in order to make it look like a drawing, it's got to look like something ground up. Stuff like quinoa and things like that gets stuck in the Brussels sprouts. Just a technique that I found works best for me. Worth my time and effort to clean them up. Alright, so I've sanded this just slightly with my hand. And just to scuff up the surface, I've also cleaned it with 50-50 water and vinegar with a little splash of Blue Dawn, the original one. And then I rinsed it with clean water and a clean rag. Okay, so that's it. Prep is important. Sanding isn't necessary, except this one had a very shiny finish on it, so I needed to scuff it up just a little bit, okay? So the next thing you want to do is really just start painting. Chalk paint's awesome because you don't have to completely sand everything off. And you don't have to prime, you don't have to do any of that. Now this first coat is not going to look good. It's going to be a little thin, it's going to kind of look like a primer as it goes. It does dry quickly, so you can move quickly with it. You want to also notice I'm not brushing this direction. I'm brushing up and down with the way that the grain of the wood goes. Okay? It's really important, especially when you're using more of a transparent paint or a glaze or a top coat on the wood. Not 100% necessary with the solid coat that this is going to wind up being, but I do always like to do that. I feel like it gets into the grain of the wood, especially with a heavy grain like this is. This is oak. Okay? And this is my Klingon brush, if you're wondering what I'm using. Klingon is, you have to store it in water, but it doesn't rust and the paint does not peel off the wood, which is pretty amazing. It's actually a great, great brush. And a lot of people don't like to spend money on brushes, but when you divide up how much this costs per how many projects it lasts for, it's really very minimal, almost $1 a project. So that's how you do it. It's pretty simple. I like to use smaller, daintier brushes on some of the detailing. Like there's this one line right here that's carved into the wood. I'll probably take an artist brush in there just to get the paint down into it before I do my next layer. Let this dry for 20 minutes and then you're going to do your second coat. Only do 2 coats on a piece within 24 hours. Today I'm using Cali Taupe by Shabby Paints. This is almost empty. It's an older container, older paint, but Shabby Paints doesn't expire, so it's great. It's also non-toxic and VOC free. So there's not much left in here, so I'm going to go ahead and use it straight out of the container. If you were using this from any other chalk paint or any other container that had more in it, definitely pour some out onto a plate as needed. Put the lid back on, keep it dry, keep your rim clean, and you won't contaminate the container. So make sure you use a palette of some sort. When you put your paint on your brush, you just need it on the last little bit of the bristles. You don't need to stick the brush all the way into the paint. So just barely dab it into the paint. Otherwise you're wasting the paint because it gets into the bristles and then you can never get it out because it's all the way down there in the bottom until you wash it. You can't get it out onto your piece, which is the problem. That's where it needs to go. Okay, so getting started, always work again with the grain of the wood. I always use a water mister bottle. These are little travel size ones. You can also find them on my website, www.uniquelygrace.com. And they're $1.50 and they just give a really fine mist when it spritzes because it's a cosmetic spritzer. So when your brush is sticking, just mist your surface with a couple quick shots, not a lot, or you can mist directly into your brush a couple times using distilled water. Okay, that's important. And then it will allow the paint and the brush to glide on really smoothly. This will give you a nice, wonderful finish without the brush strokes, thick brush stroke marks. This molding and this moldings, they're going to go horizontally with the grain. So when you do this, a little bit on the brush, very tips, and you want to go nice and slow. You can also tape off the top if you aren't painting the top. I'm going to leave it wood, and I have a really steady hand, so I'm just going to paint this right along here. But you can tape that off if you wish with painter's tape, the blue kind, or Frogger's tape is always good too, which is also painter's tape, but it's a brand of painter's tape. It's frog tape. It's really great stuff. Another tip really quick that I'm not doing, because this is not a very complicated piece, but if you have a piece with a lot of carvings, flip your piece upside down for the first coat and paint it that way, because you'll see in and out of all the cricks and crannies a lot better from that perspective, and then you can paint it all into that, flip it back over for your second coat, and that way you get a more solid coverage and there's not any errors in your painting. Then we'll get the bottom here. So that's how we do our painting. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to my video, and have a great day. Rose, what you doing? He's not supposed to be in the video. You're not. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Oh,